Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we were just doing this base defense mission and we were one shot away from finishing it when these Steiner reinforcements spawned. So unfortunately our evac zone is on the far side of them, so we're going to have to go through these. We've got a sentinel, we've got a rifleman, we've got a strider, and we've got a bushwhacker here. So let's move forward with our trebuchet here. I want to see what our hit odds are, but I'm not expecting them to be great here. We're probably not going to take the shot. 5.4 and 3.6, and yeah, we're just going to brace the trebuchet then. And let's see what this Whitworth does. Absolutely nothing. We need to get closed in here. They're awkwardly far away. But that's fine. We are kind of close with our Centaur, but everything else is quite a long ways away. So the bushwhacker closes in and fires on our Shadowhawk here. Gets a head hit, but we have an injury resistance, so that's good. That was an indirect shot. Not doing all that much damage either. So they're split up into these two groups, right? They've got the Sentinel and the Rifleman there, and then off over here they've got the Strider and the Bushwhacker. They're kind of grouping together here. We'll see if that continues. So for now, our Wraith is going to need to sprint up over here. We do have LOS on this Strider. Probably not worth firing, although this wouldn't build heat. I think there's no point in not firing this PPC. It's almost certainly going to miss, but we might as well try. Okay, it does miss, and that's not surprising. That is extraordinarily expected, in fact. So our allied Centurion moves forward, not too much going on there. The Shadowhawk is now going to make its way on up, and it's not really in a position to do anything either. These guys are really, really far away, and it's foggy, and it's night, and we can't see anything. So we'll see how this ends up going. It could take a bit. Next up, of course, is our Centaur. When the Centaur gets into rear arc, it'll take these out very quickly. And in fact, we can almost get into rear arc of the Sentinel. We can't quite turn and get into rear arc. So we might want to reserve the Centaur here. I think that we do. I'm going to reserve this back a ways. And now they're going to move something. We don't know what they're going to move, but they're going to move something. And that might give us an opportunity here. Strider moves out over here. That is kind of pointless. Commander? The crossbow can absolutely step a little forward here. This is side arc. On my way. And this is probably not good hit odds. No, I'm not going to take that shot. That's really, really far. I live to serve. And the Wraith at this point needs to continue to advance. So we can position the Wraith about here. Once again, we can pot shot the PPC, and as well as everything else, other than the SRM. This would build a little heat, so I'm just going to... we'll only do the PPC here. Okay, we miss it, but that's not shocking. We don't really lose anything for that other than a coolant cycle, so no problem. The hoplite is going to step forward here, and we need to think about who we want to drop artillery on. I think it's these guys, because I'd like to get our Centaur up here to take out the Rifleman Sentinel combo and have fire support take out these. So I think the Strider is probably the target here.
Locking target.
We end up hitting the Bushwhacker there a little bit, and we do get knocked down by that shot. We knew that was coming eventually. We got lucky in not getting any knockdowns previously. So for now, that's fine. Okay, what's this Hunter going to do? Firing at the Sentinel? That's okay. No problem there. And who's going to move next? I would like to see the Sentinel come this direction a little bit. The Rifleman does. Actually, with him facing this direction, we might be able to get in behind the Rifleman here with our Centaur. But it is the Apollo who moves next. Now, the Apollo is not in the world's best position here. We'll just sprint it forward. I'm not expecting to fire here, but we'll look at hit odds. 0.9, 8.1, 4.3, 0.9. Yeah, we're not going to fire that. Okay. That Bushwhacker's got a Midran AC-10. That's definitely good to know. Let's sprint forward into this cover. We get side arc on both of these up over here. 14.2 and 10 is all we've got there. I'm going to take the 14.2 on the Strider for the moment. We got 0 hits. Okay, that is sad.
Failed to connect.
But it's not shocking. Next up is that Blackjack firing on the Sentinel. It starts a fire there, which is not necessarily ideal, but we should be able to handle that. Now, either the Bushwhacker or the Sentinel will move, and we'll see which. We are going to be able to move our Centaur now. They're firing on our crossbow. Okay, they get no damage there. We AMS that. I like it. So now our Centaur can move. And yes, we definitely get rear arc on this Rifleman. So I think positioning about here.
Aye, aye.
Hitting that Rifleman rear arc, we could take it. Oh, wow, that's really weak rear arc armor there. I think it dies here.
Triggering an alpha strike. Follow my lead.
And it does. Although it's barely. It almost survived that.
LRMs are out.
But that was our final round of LRMs as well. So the Sentinel is similarly weak in its rear arc armor, so the Centaur should be capable of dealing with that as well.
Yes,
so the Trebuchet is going to continue to head forward here. We do have an we have an interrupted LOS here on this Strider. I'll lob a couple missiles at this, but we don't expect much out of that at all. Yeah, a little bit of damage there, but not too much. Next up is our Black Knight, and the Black Knight is not going to get LOS. Actually, it does get LOS here, but I don't expect to take these shots. 12.1% on this line of fire. We're going to stray shot our Wraith if we take that. So I'm not going to take that shot. Cool. Trident moves up and doesn't really do too much. We're so far away, right? We're still a very, very long ways away, with the exception of the Centaur. These guys are really far out there. So the Sentinel is moving and positioning itself out over here. That's a terrible position, but it didn't really have a good position, to be fair. I kind of think no sprint, just position here. We don't have LRMs, so this may or may not kill. We'll see.
Affirmative.
That did not cluster well. Okay. Yeah, that spread out very, very wide there. So that's fine. Our Apollo is able to continue to advance over here.
Full speed. No target.
That's fine for the moment. That Whitworth firing on the Bushwhacker. Okay, we'll take a little bit of damage there. Definitely not much. Next up is our Wraith. And these guys are going to continue to advance up over here, trying to get eyes on over this way. I think we go ahead and fire everything that we've got here. There's a possibility, I think, of stray shot.
Got it, Commander.
Yeah, that was solid. We got stray shot, and we hit the Bushwhacker. I like it. I want to take a look at, we hit that CT. Cool. That's a lot of ballistic weaponry. We know one of those is an AC-10 Midran, though. And now the Shadowhawk can position about here and continue to hit that Bushwhacker. So we'll just continue to chip down that armor a bit. Maybe getting a couple of stray shots there as well. I don't know if there were any, but it's okay. Doesn't really matter either way. What I really want to do is get this front armor on that Bushwhacker chipped down. So that's absolutely fine for now. The Sentinel is going to be moving next phase, and the Centaur's job is still to kill the Sentinel. Taking out that Rifleman in one shot was great, but of course, with us being out of LRM ammo, it's not the best. And we're missing 2 LRMs. I'm not sure if we can get those back or not. We'll see.
Commander.
So the Trebuchet is going to head up over here.
Understood.
It doesn't have LOS, but continuing to hit the Bushwhacker is maybe not the worst thing here. These hit odds are terrible. I'm not going to fire it. Okay, what else do we have? Blackjack moves up, firing on that Sentinel. That's really not a great choice, to be honest. If it's going to shoot at anything, I'd like it to be at the Strider or the Bushwhacker. The Sentinel will almost certainly die next round. So we're not concerned about it. That wasn't so bad, actually.
Systems holding.
That felt like it should have done more damage than it did. We'll take it. So they're continuing to fire at this Sentinel. That's pointless. I don't like that choice. It'll die to the Centaur next round, basically no matter where it goes. The Centaur's on it, and it can't get away. So at this point,
Standing
our
by.
hoplite can stand back up. And we can see about an artillery out over here. I guess it would be on the bushwhacker.
I'm up. Let's go.
Yeah, it would be on the bushwhacker. It's very mediocre, and we immediately were knocked back down, I think.
I'm gonna need a medic.
Yeah, you are going to need a medic. You're not wrong. However, he's only at 3 of 4 health right now, so he resisted the previous knockdown injury. That's great. The crossbow is going to head forward here, and let's see what we've got for hit odds. 3% on the Strider, 3% on the Bushwhacker, 1% on the Sentinel. We're not going to take any of that. Those are terrible odds. We just need to get a little closer in. So at this point, the Black Knight can position about here.
Heading out.
And we can fire on the Strider or the Bushwhacker. The Bushwhacker's the better hit odds, so we'll take that. We missed both of them, sadly. But I guess it's okay.
Oh, man.
I mean, the odds were that we would miss both of those, so fair enough. Hunchback firing on that Strider, and looks like it got 2 missiles in. Okay, we'll take 10 damage. And beyond that, now it's our Centaur's
Got
turn.
my attention.
So, of course, the Centaur is going to position itself about here, going for the rear arc on that Sentinel. This is probably going to finish it off. It's also going to finish off our SRM-2 ammo.
Confirm.
And there we go. -1 Sentinel. But we have no more SRM-2 ammo in our Centaur here, so that's absolutely fine. We're going to continue to move forward with our crossbow here. What are our hit odds like? 8.8% on the Strider and a little lower on the Bushwhacker. Okay, I'll fire this, but I'm not happy about it. A couple of hits there, but we don't really expect anything, to be honest. At this point, the Wraith is absolutely closing in over here, and this is kind of ideal hit range for the Bushwhacker. Frontal armor, which we've already softened this. I think that we're probably not going to fire the SRM, but I'm going to fire everything else here. This will result in an overheat, and that's understood. Hopefully we don't shut down from it, but even if we do, it shouldn't be too bad.
Heat damage.
Yeah, we're okay. So the Apollo is wanting to head up over this way. How are we doing on hit odds here? 6.2 and 4.3. Okay. We'll soften up the Strider a little bit, but again, I expect very little out of that. What's the rear arc armor like on that Strider? That's a question I want to ask here. So if we move up over this direction, we can't actually see it from here. Hopefully we can in a moment. It steps forward, goes for the side arc on the Wraith, and gets a number of hits there. So the rear arc on... Because I'm thinking about what we're going to attack with our Centaur next. We're already softened on the front armor of the Bushwhacker there. That said, we don't have any ammo in the Centaur, right? So there is that. Okay, who are we moving here? We are moving our Black Knight. We'll position it here. What's that Strider looking like? Pretty low on the rear armor. So's the Bushwhacker, though. The obvious choice here for the Black Knight is the Strider. So we'll hit the side arc here. This is his weakened side arc as well. Structural exposure there, and we did quite a lot of damage to it. So we'll take that.
Solid connection on that one.
Okay, next up is the Blackjack, also firing into that weakened side arc of the Strider, but it gets no hits there. That is very, very sad. What else are they going to do in this round? The Whitworth's also firing on the Strider, also getting no damage. Okay. Now we have 2 Phase 11 movers. They're going to move their Bushwhacker here. And we do see some of their weaponry is currently jammed. They fire on our Shadowhawk here, but a lot of that stray-shotted their Strider.
Took a hard hit there.
That actually didn't do all that much. We do see that the Bushwhacker has multiple machine guns. Those could potentially be quite threatening, specifically to our Centaur. So I want to keep an eye on potential LOSs here. We don't get one on the Strider, but we do get one on the Bushwhacker if we sprint there. But we could also move here. and get an LOS on the Bushwhacker without sprinting. And that's what we'll do. We'll fire our missiles and see what we get done here. Lower arm destruction, but other than that, not too much going on there. Okay, a little bit of armor softening, but nothing too major. Next up is our Shadowhawk, and the Shadowhawk can move in and kick the rear arc of this Strider. Now, the Strider is softened up on this side, but it also has very little rear armor, so that should be absolutely okay. Let's get in there.
Engage.
That's a successful kick, and that is actually a leg destruction.
Inflicted some
So this
heavy
Strider is
damage.
probably dead here. And there it goes. Phenomenal. All that's left now is the Bushwhacker, which does have rear arc on our Shadowhawk. That does need to be noted. We'll see what it does with it, if it even gets a chance to do anything with it at all. Next up is going to be our hoplite. The hoplite is going to stand up. We're in way too close a proximity to fire the Thumper again, but we can absolutely lob our LRM-15. So that'll be fine. We can just fire on this guy with the LRM-15 long fire. 0.9% hit chance, though. Let's just brace it.
Hunkering down.
Okay, so what are the phases here? Phase 15 for the Bushwhacker, 18 for the Shadowhawk. That's beautiful. Okay, so our Centaur, I'm thinking about order of operations here. Normally, I would be all over doing a melee attack with the Centaur here. But I don't actually think that's the right way to go. I think we position the Centaur here. And we soften up the rear arc of the Bushwhacker with the micro lasers. If we had ammo, I would have gone for it. But we soften this up like so.
Should have watched your positioning better.
Okay, so that doesn't do a lot, right? But what we do then is we use our Shadowhawk, which rolled exceptionally well in Phase 18. We come in here, and we get to this rear arc position, and we kick from there. And that's, I think, a much, much better rear arc attack. So let's head on in here. This Bushwhacker is not going to be doing well at all. We did miss our melee there, though. That's unfortunate. But we still have a very solid rear arc attack, including some internal damage there. We destroyed the Ferrofibrous, the Engine Core 275, but
I'm here.
that was definitely not ideal. We can position our Wraith here, not firing the PPC, but firing everything else, in theory. These hit odds are quite low. Target move. It's very sad that we missed that kick. That would have made this shot way easier. But as it is, we still took out a shoulder for the Bushwhacker, so I guess that's okay. It's going to move in Phase 15 here, but we do get to move our crossbow first.
Coordinates received.
Okay. I'm not expecting too much damage out of this, but we'll see what we get. Tiny bit of internal. That's fine.
I'm out of long-range missiles.
These shots would have been so much more effective if we had hit that melee attack, but sadly we didn't. So the hoplite is going to head forward here, and I'm just going to lob LRM-15s. We're not firing the Thumper. A little bit of armor damage there. I'm not shocked. That's all completely fine. And then finally, it's our Trebuchet, which can actually position here and have direct LOS. But I don't expect too much out of that either. Actually, hang on.
Hope we can salvage
Engine
that.
destruction out of that. That all hit the arm, which then transferred into the torso. Fascinating. Well, that did the trick. I didn't expect anything out of that shot, but sure, we'll take it. Sometimes you get pleasantly surprised, and sometimes you get unpleasantly surprised. In this case, it was pleasant. So let's see what we've got for salvage. There's actually some decent salvage out of this, and we have 5 and 27, I want to say. So we could potentially get something good out of this, like a rifleman. I would think that would be a reasonably solid upgrade to the hoplite. We'd probably want to transfer the Thumper artillery. But let's see what we've got available for that. There's that rifleman. It's only a 5-ton upgrade. but I still kind of want to go for it. What else do we have here? Some double heat sinks. There's not a lot else, to be honest. We could go for the bushwhacker, but I'm pretty sure that we don't have enough. Yeah. So we're going to get very little beyond the rifleman, but honestly, the rifleman is good. We can take the AC-5. We can take the medium laser. How many machine guns do we have? We have 5. We could take a couple of PPCs, or we could take these double heat sinks and a PPC. And I think that's what we're going to go for. Okay, cool. So that gives us all of our items there. And now I want to think about that rifleman. Do we want to upgrade the hoplite to the rifleman? Probably. That gets us 5 more tons to work with. For sure. Alternatively, I'm just thinking here. If we had dual thumpers, oh boy, that would probably not be good for the knockdown. So that's probably not a great concept. We'll have to think about that. I think for the moment, we might just get the rifleman repaired. Indeed. Yeah, go ahead and get this going, Yang. I want to take a look at the rifleman, and I want to look at the centaur as well. We have a little bit of time here. So let's take a quick look inside of the mech bay. I want to grab the centaur, because we're missing a couple of LRMs, and previously the ammo didn't replenish, but the lost SRMs did. I'm not sure if the lost LRMs will. All of these have LRMs. Okay, so yeah, that seems to have replenished itself. Perfect. We need to spread the armor out relatively evenly. I think it should be like 120-ish. But we definitely want this to be even. Okay, it's going to be like 115, I think. Okay, a little bit more. 116. Got it. So that'll do, and then of course we'll toss a howitzer on. No, I'm kidding. Obviously a howitzer is not going to work. We'll get that going. At least that gets us our LRMs back, so that's absolutely wonderful. As far as the rifleman goes, I think we'll just repair it for now. Oh, this is very tiny. If we exit here and go back in, will it be less tiny? Yes. Okay, perfect. So let's repair this center torso here. That's an engine core 240 and 2 heat sinks. But beyond that, that's nothing too major. So what do we have for engine cores? Do we have a 240? No, but we have a 225 or a 270. We'll put it a 225 for now. It's not going to be the fastest, but it's a rifleman. We don't expect it to be all that fast. And then a pair of regular generic heat sinks, which we've got plenty of, naturally. We could put ferrofibrous armor on here, and let's just repair all. That's also going to be removing a large laser out over here. So this is very much a direct fire support energy weapon unit here. If we look at the hard points, we can see that this is not a replacement for the hoplite in any meaningful way. However, we might want to use this in place of the trebuchet. That might not be too bad. I mean, the heat efficiency of it is clearly hot garbage, and I want to drop the heat sinks here, which apparently we can't do. We're having this bug. Okay. We can get there eventually. But what I really want to do here is I want to put in a double heatsink kit. So we put in a double heatsink kit. That means that we're going to have to drop these heatsinks, right? Trying to get rid of them. Okay. This bug is very awkward. No doubt about that. For the moment, we can go for... There's not any good FCSs that we have available right now. Okay. Let's close out of this for the moment, and we can recreate this. Hopefully, this time it won't be bugged. We'll hit the repair all button. We need to put on a large laser over here. We could go for a large laser like Trinell here. So this is this better range? It's not. Okay, we'll just go with a regular large laser then. And I want to ditch these two heat sinks. We could ditch that one. It's not letting me grab these heat sinks. Okay. That is exciting. We could strip equip. That would do the trick. So we strip equip here, and then we put back the PPC and the large laser and the PPC. And then that large laser went here. So that would end up going there. Beyond that, it is an engine core, right? We wanted to put in, for now, the 225. It's a slightly smaller engine core, but that should be okay. And now we've got 6 tons to work with. We can put in a heatsink kit. I don't think we have any engine heat sinks. That is correct. I don't see any. But we absolutely want to go with some double heat sinks. We only have 6 double heat sinks available. We can put in one here. We can put in one here. And then one here. And then one here. And then like one in each arm. Something like that. Then we can max out the armor. In theory, we could go with like ferrofibrous armor here. And max out that armor. I'd like to have a little bit more armor on this thing. We could go with a slightly smaller engine core. So we could go with like a 210 instead of a 225. It's a -2 heatsink ton. But that gives us 2 tons, and then we can max out that armor. We still need a fair amount more armor, to be honest. So if we were to drop the large lasers temporarily, we drop that out. It doesn't want to grab this one. We can grab this PPC, but not the large laser. Okay, let's max this armor for right now and just get that fully maxed out. Then, if we were to put this large laser back in, we need about 3 tons. I mean, we could definitely continue to back off on the engine size. So we could go down to like a 180. That would give us an extra ton. If we had a heatsink, that would be great. But we have all of our double heatsinks that we can put on for now. So that's okay. We could also think about maybe dropping the ferrofibrous armor and then going down a little bit in the legs. We have nothing at all in the legs, right? So we could... This is going to be quite a lot of armor removal here. Indeed, it is. But this mech shouldn't be taking a huge amount of damage. So we could do something like this. It'll be a little slower, but it'll be a lot more durable and a lot more heat efficient. Heat delta of 30 heat. That's not bad considering this weaponry. Let's do it. So we'll get that going, and it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to get these repairs done and probably try out our fancy new rifleman. Although we might not deploy with the rifleman this time. It's 19 days out. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.